What is up, everyone? This is the latest edition of CINEMATALKEry with Robert Walkenbrod. This is a little bit of a different episode than what we've been covering lately. It's obviously been a lot of movies, and this is definitely a feature, but this is a documentary. Now, this is a documentary called The Edge of Democracy. It came out during on Netflix sometime last year, and it was recently nominated for an Academy Award. Of course, it did not win, as American Factory won, but I found The Edge of Democracy to be very interesting, just based on the political landscapes we have going on around the world right now, including in the United States, and in the United Kingdom, and so on. It goes beyond that. But The Edge of Democracy goes into the unraveling of Brazil's fragile democracy that was established a few decades ago. It's still relatively new, unlike in the United States, which the democracy has been around for hundreds of years. Brazil was only going into theirs very recently, through different presidents, and they reached a point where controversy arose over the last two presidents, or the prior two presidents that were in place, that ended up creating a very fragile base through the presidents Lula and Dilma, who were prominently featured in this documentary that again just was nominated for Best Documentary Feature at the Oscars. So I'm obviously, as what I've done in the past videos, I don't spoil anything too much. Just give some broad details. So again, Lula and Dilma, they were these two political figures. They were the presidents of Brazil. Lula was first and Dilma was next, and they were both criminally charged, either with Lula being placed in prison, to Dilma being impeached and removed from office as well. It was, I guess, if you want to say, around kind of like a witch hunt to find something on them, to get them out of public eye, or just to have the other party, the other side of Brazil, have the political advantage, or to take over the presidency, especially based off the most recent election that Dilma was involved in. I believe it was back in 2015 or 2016, and her opposing candidate, of course, lost, but then completely denied that he lost, wanted to recount on the votes, and that led to a very quick and somewhat swift impeachment process that led to her being put on the line, and of course being voted out of her position. And then Lula was running for office to follow her up, and seemed like the next possible candidate to at least come back in and be president again. But he ended up being charged for something along the lines of owning or having an apartment being given to him for free. And he was placed in prison, and I believe he's still in prison. But this documentary feature goes through all of that. It's a little over 2 hours. It's a fascinating dive into Brazil's political landscape that's still going on now. It's not a controversy that's over, or it's not a scenario or a situation that's done with. It's ongoing. It's kind of scary. If you thought some situations around the world were kind of scary, this divide is kind of right down the middle, and it seems a little more extreme than other ones, especially with political figures trying to put each other in jail. I think that's kind of wild, and it just gets violent, and the violence is shown through the documentary. How rough the opinions are between both sides, how everyone's feeling, and it's just if you felt that your political situation was bad, there's situations out there that show it could be worse. Now, depends on whatever country you're in, but some situations are bad. Some situations are very, very bad. I'm not saying where is where. I'm leaving my own political thoughts out of this because that's irrelevant. But Brazil's is in, well, seemed like it was crumbling a little bit, especially with the other figures that are involved in this, who you'll have to watch the documentary to see what they do. But there's other figures around these two that cause the great divide between one side and the other. Very split and creating a very, I guess, militaristic state in a way that just hasn't gone well for Brazil in the past decade, and seems like it's only continuing to unravel in terms of their democracy. So democracy is falling apart there, and it seems like it's continuing to unravel, and especially with all these, there's all different scenarios going on, all different situations that you can find out more. I'm not fully aware of everything in what's been going on, especially for a couple of years. I'm only basing my knowledge off what I saw in this documentary, and I'm keeping this relatively brief too, because there's so much information you could go into. There's so many political aspects you can go into. But this is something that you should definitely watch for yourself. You can craft your own opinion, and you can learn about what's going on in the biggest country in South America. Because, like I said in my Oscars review, documentaries are good for teaching us things. They teach us things about things going on around the world, or maybe other aspects that we're just unaware about. And frankly, I was pretty unaware of the Brazil political proceedings. Maybe that's just me being naive over the past few years, because this has been going on for quite a while. But I've never been someone until somewhat recently to be watching or following global news. And watching this documentary, again called The Edge of Democracy, is going to make me want to learn more and follow more and see what's going on there, to be aware, just like how if we're aware, we're probably more aware of what's going on with Brexit than Brazil. Of course, we're aware of in our own country, me being in the United States, you being wherever you're watching. So there's so much to take away, and I advise that you go check this out on Netflix. It's available right now. It's a little over 2 hours. You can take your weekend to watch it. It's going to the weekend of February 14th, Valentine's weekend, is supposed to be pretty cold. Not sure people are going to be going outside too much, so this might be your opportunity, especially if it's snowing by you too. Luckily, not snowing here, but you never know. So yeah, go check out the documentary, The Edge of Democracy. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And we'll be back soon with our next episode of CINEMATALKERY, which I think is going to go into the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, however it may be.